This is definitely a very, very sad moment. Depressing even. I mean, he comes to one of the most conservative states in the country, to what has to be the most conservative county within that state, to one of the most conservative universities, Utah Valley University I graduated from. I'm an alumni from Utah Valley University. I was there at Utah Valley University when Sean Hannity came for the first time. It had to have been 20 some odd years ago. I was born and raised within a few miles of that university, literally within just a few miles. I mean, I drove by that thing every day. My dad worked right by it. Like I said, I graduated from there. Utah Valley is a very Christian, God-fearing valley. And just to see this happen there is just devastating to all of us. Charlie Kirk was a man among men. What he did at Turning Point USA, what he did to change minds and hearts in universities across the country is astounding how far he went. And I was always going to ask him, because we actually reached out to his show to see if he would spend some time with us while he was here in town. What I was going to ask him is how do you go through that? How do you have so many woke minds come up to the microphone and then you come out at the end of the day just not completely drained and just not wanting to talk to anybody? Because what you hear all day long and what you have to fight against all day long has just got to be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually draining. From what we're hearing on the ground over there, there was a group of trans activists, trans people, where they were stepping up to the mic, about ready to step up to the mic after that first person that he spoke to. I mean, he had only gone through one individual at the time. And he was grinning sheepishly, smiling at what was about to happen. And then he kind of signaled to somebody else within the group, kind of like they knew what was going to happen, because there was a couple of them there. Then all of a sudden that shot rang out. And it's very clear that he wasn't going to survive that. I'm not going to show the whole clip, but I mean, just the tail end of it right there, from that bullet hitting carotid artery there and the amount of blood that gushed out, that he had seconds to live with that much blood. I mean, he probably lost a pint or more of blood within seconds of that shot. It wouldn't have mattered how fast that security team got to him, but to stop the carotid from bleeding out like that and to pinch that off, and with the ambulance taking a good 5 to 10 minutes to get there and not having paramedics on site that could pinch that off that quickly, yeah, it was inevitable that he was going to pass away. I mean, it took a little bit for the family to announce that, but the family did announce that. We have our political connections of everybody's been here on the podcast. We talked to a few of them long before it was out in public, but that he had passed. I can't imagine what his wife, he's got 2 beautiful daughters, what they're going through. I mean, look at this picture. His wife, his 2 girls, they're going to grow up without a father. Who has the right to do that? I mean, I see our soldiers that die in war and what it does to their families. And we just had a podcast with the Warrior Risen Ranch and what those soldiers go through coming back from war, and then those who do not come back, what their families have to go through. We just had 2 police officers up here in Tremont that were gunned down, and what their families are going to have to go through, and they had kids. Charlie Kirk was a father. I mean, he was a husband. He was a son. What right do you have to gun him down like that? I don't care what he said or how you disagreed with it. But it goes to show what rhetoric is doing to this country. The left, their rhetoric is so vile and so negative that it creates things like this. Literally creates it. I mean, we had the Trump assassination right here on my chest there. And luckily, he only got his ear. I mean, slight little more turn of the head, and he wouldn't have been with us either. But what causes this? It's the left wanting control. They want power. And the more power they lose, the more desperate they get, the worse the rhetoric gets that they announce. And they literally start saying it's an existential threat that people like Charlie Kirk, people like Trump, Elon Musk, anybody else that were to speak out. I mean, we got people speaking out against Sean Ryan. We got people speaking out against Megyn Kelly. People speaking out against Glenn Beck. I mean, there's a lot of conservative talk show hosts out there. But they're voicing their opinion. They're voicing the truth. But yet the left speaks out so vehemently against them, and it's not just how they say it, it's what they say. That it's an existential threat. It's a threat to our democracy. They're compared to Hitler. They're compared to Nazis. They're going to take over the country. They're going to take away your freedoms. Christianity as a whole is becoming more nationalistic, where it's going to take your freedoms away and they're going to control everything. It's where wrong has become right, right has become wrong. We look at the same evil that's being shown towards Israel and what they're doing, and literally just nobody wants to give Israel any credibility at all. Everybody vehemently is against Trump and what he's doing. And he's not perfect. Nobody is. But when he does something right, you got to recognize it, but yet they recognize zero, nothing. Because they hate the man worse than they hate the actions. And that goes to show the level of narrative that is out there, the level of animosity, the level of the rhetoric that is out there. But beyond all that, it's just the sheer level of evil. Satan has taken over the hearts of men. Literally taken over the hearts of men. I mean, we're all Christians, and I believe in Christ, and I know that Charlie's going to a happy place, and he's going to go back with his Father in heaven and wait the arrival of his family. He's done nothing but good here on earth, and I'm sure he's going to get a good reward there on the other side. But Satan has control right now on this planet, and he is twisting hearts. And he's twisting people to believe that good is evil and evil is good. That if you're against LGBTQ, you're evil, and they're the good ones. If that Hamas is the good ones and Israel's evil, that Sharia law is good and everybody else is evil, that capitalism is evil and socialism is good. You see how everything's just gone the opposite? If you believe in morals and values, you're a white supremacist, you're intolerant. There's schools out there that are kicking parents out and destroying the family unit and saying that's a good thing because we're growing, we're progressing as a society, we're becoming better because of it. We're getting rid of those ideals that are antiquated and old and oppressing people. That's evil. And I don't know how people are so blind to this, that they're calling that good, that we are progressing. That it is better that these old Christian values, these old family values are being done away with, and we're becoming more accepting now. We're becoming more accepting of the left. We're becoming more accepting of the LGBTQ community. We're becoming more accepting of Sharia law, of socialism. You don't need those freedoms. We know what's best for you. Let us do it. And when anybody talks out against it, they get angry and they get violent. And for some reason, that's still good. I mean, I've been responding to a lot of comments within my own comments section. Literally, people are in denial. We talk about the riots in L.A., and I literally have comments within my own comments section saying, what riots? What are you talking about? What do you mean, what riots? I got comment after comment saying, you're evil, you're wrong. That's not true. When we talk about the Holocaust, they're saying, well, that didn't really happen. People are in absolute denial, or they want to be in denial because literally their hearts have been won over by Satan himself and his host of angels that have went with him. Good is officially evil, and evil is officially good. And we've lost a great man today, a great man, and one that has put forth an exceptional amount of good within our universities that are trying to purposely indoctrinate the next generation so they could literally weed out the good and weed out the conservatism, weed out the Christianity within the next generation, and literally use the next generation to change the future. And not for good. Definitely not for good. Right now, you have the family of Charlie Kirk, and I doubt they were able to travel with him, so they're probably back at home. They probably said goodbye when he got on the plane, just like any other trip to any other university he would have gone to, and said, hey, see you when you get back. Hey, by the way, next week we got such and such going on with the girls. And he travels out to here, to the most conservative state in the union almost, and his family's never going to see him again. In our state, of all places, it had to happen in Utah. It didn't happen in Detroit. Didn't happen in Chicago. Didn't happen in Baltimore. Didn't happen on some Ivy League liberal campus. It happened in Utah. Literally in Utah Valley, Utah of all places, the home of BYU and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where the vast majority of us are ultra conservative. That, of all places, is where the assassination had to attempt. People had to travel to that university to take out Charlie Kirk. We're probably going to find out that these trans activists who probably did the assassination, we don't know for sure, that's just what we're hearing from the ground, had to travel down there for maybe out of state or maybe even from Salt Lake. Well, who knows? I don't know if his wife's going to stay at home or fly here to Utah to see her husband, or they're going to have now get the body back, have a funeral coming up. There's probably going to be a lot of vigils, probably a massive funeral coming up in a few days because he's got a lot of supporters. Trump himself is probably going to go to the funeral. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of high-profile people that are going to be there. I'm sure that all the major talk show hosts are going to be there. You'll probably see Sean Ryan coming out, Megyn Kelly coming out. You'll probably see even Dan Bongino coming out, even with his position at the FBI. There's going to be a lot of people talking about him. Glenn Beck will probably be there. I mean, they're all friends with each other. But his family didn't deserve this. As much as he speaks out, I mean, this country has the right to say what you want to say. I mean, that is the right of free speech. But yet we're turning into an England where you can't even say anything, can't even raise your own flag without threat of getting arrested over there in England. You got veterans in wheelchairs that are getting arrested and thrown in paddy wagons for just being vocal about their country. We're turning into that here in the U.S. because it is being disguised as false news, false information. You got people like Hillary Clinton, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Jackson, all coming out and saying that free speech needs to be curtailed, it needs to be controlled because they have to verify what they're talking about. It's got to meet their narrative, or else it's wrong, it's evil. That's how it starts. That's how it starts, is when you start controlling speech. And this is part of it. Assassinating somebody just because you don't like what he says or what he represents or what he believes in. The morals that he stands up for. morals that the vast majority of all Christians across this country stand up for? That is so vile to you that you have to kill a man for it? That's what it's come down to. Watch as it goes through the next few days how the left will come out and the mainstream media are going to downplay it. They're not going to talk about it very much. And there's going to be a hint in there of, well, he kind of deserved it. He was kind of being too vocal about things he shouldn't have been talking about. That's going to be the mainstream media. But then you're going to get all the commenters down in probably his podcast that he's not going to be able to run anymore, and every other conservative podcast holder and anywhere on TikTok or on Instagram or on Facebook or YouTube, it's going to be full of commenters saying this was justified, that these killers did the right thing for taking him out, that he was fomenting violence, that his speech was creating animosity, that he was the one that was causing the division, that it's his fault that he got shot. You're going to see it coming out. Trust me, they're going to justify what this killer did in comments. And that's just going to, again, show how evil society is becoming. How they're accepting evil and saying that evil is good and good is evil. I mean, we're at that point. Every Christian out there knows that Christ is going to come for the second time. And he's going to end all this. And it starts and ends with Israel. It starts and ends with those of us who are talking out and upholding our Christian values. That's where it's going to start and end from. But it's going to come to a point where the world will have turned their hearts enough against him that he's finally going to say, this is enough. You're done. It's time. And he's going to come, and all these naysayers, all these people that say that good is evil and evil is good, all these people have been speaking against us are going to find out really, really quickly what good really is, what side of the line they should have been on. I want to give my utmost condolences and heartfelt sympathies to Charlie Kirk's family. I know there's no words that are going to take away the pain that they're going to go through. I've had death in the family, and people who've gone through death know that it doesn't get better. You only learn to live with it. You only learn to live with the death. You learn to turn your heart and soul to God, and God gives you the peace you need, because it's not going to come from anybody else. There's no human being out there that's going to give you enough heartfelt condolences that's going to take away the pain. And as much as God's going to warm your heart, pain's still going to be there. And over time, you're just going to learn to live with it. Learn to accept it for what it is. Learn that God has a plan, and in the end, you'll be happy in the hereafter. You'll have those loved ones again in your arms in the hereafter. And those that have done sick, evil things like this are going to pay the price for that evil. And we're going to all be swallowed up in the arms of his love. And that's all I can say to his family is, you're going to have to look out for that, and you just get swallowed up in the arms of his love, because that's the only thing that's going to give you a semblance of peace. And sadly, I know this isn't going to stop here. It isn't going to be an attempted assassination of Trump, and it's over. It's not going to be an assassination of Charlie Kirk, and it's over. For all of you listening, it's going to get worse from here. I mean, I hate to break that news to you, but it only gets worse. They're going to become more and more emboldened. More things like this are going to continue to happen, and in this country and others. We're going to have to be more secure and keep ourselves more safe. The more we talk out, just like this podcast, the more we talk out against this stuff, the more that those who support Satan and what he tries to put out there, the more he's going to fight against you and want to silence your voice. Evil is going to continue to take hold of the hearts of people, and they're going to get worse from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. It's going to get worse because that's the path they're following. And you're going to think it's going to be gradual, but as an exponential function shows, it starts off gradual, but it's going to start growing, and that evil is going to get worse and worse, and it's going to get worse faster and faster until that day when Christ says, enough's enough, you're done. You're done. It's time to end it. It's time for the next chapter. So those of us who think there's going to be peace in the future, that we're going to find peace somehow, we'll find peace with each other. Those of us who are Christian, those of us who support values like this, like Charlie supported, we'll find peace with each other. But there's not going to be any peace out in the outside world. You're just not going to find it out there. It's going to get worse out there. It's going to get more violent, more wicked, more accepting of the violence and of the wickedness. People are going to push this and say it's good, it was acceptable, it's what needed to be done. And the Christian voices are going to be more and more silenced. You're going to have a bigger spread of socialism. You're going to have a bigger spread of Sharia law as those things start taking over. You're going to want to hide and protect your family from this. You're going to want to hide and protect your kids from this. And I suggest you do it as much as possible. Don't trust the public school systems with your kids. Stay close to the news and read through the narratives, read through the rhetoric, and see things for what it is. And hopefully you'll have the Spirit of God with you, and you'll be able to discern good from evil and not be fooled when good becomes evil and evil becomes good. And don't let those things fool you. You're going to have some discernment, which means you're going to have to be closer to God than ever before, because it's going to be confusing and it's going to be convincing. Very convincing, as Hollywood and the mainstream media puts this out there, and social media becomes more and more prevalent, and more people fall into that trap and become more and more convincing. You're going to have a very, very high level of discernment to understand that good does not change century after century. Not 1,000 years from ago, not 1,000 years from now. It's not going to change. Good voices are going to be suppressed. Good voices are going to be put down and tossed aside. They're going to try to shut us down and shut down any good voice that is out there. Watch for that. Voices like God and Country podcast, because as we demonstrated this last week in the podcast we just released on Sunday, we're noticeably getting suppressed by YouTube and other channels as to how many impressions they give out there. Not to promote us off the back of Charlie Kirk. I'm just saying that you have to watch, because good voices will be suppressed. You will have to search out for them. It is not going to be readily available, because evil's going to push it down and try not to put it in front of you. And that's where the discernment is going to have to come out. You're going to have the Spirit of God with you, and you're going to have to go out and find that which is good. You're going to have to look for it. It's not just going to pop up on your screen. It's not going to just be out in the open, because evil is going to suppress it. And right now, evil is winning. But evil is only going to win for a certain amount of time more. But you've got to keep yourself strong until then. We love Charlie Kirk. I thank Charlie Kirk's family for the sacrifices they did in letting him go out and do what he did. As much as he had to travel, as much as he was probably away from his family, and now that he's permanently away from his family, those are huge sacrifices. And I want to openly thank the family for that sacrifice of letting us have him for the while that we did have him. For us having his voice, for his knowledge, for his passion, for his outstanding virtues, Thank you for letting us have him for the time we had him. And hopefully there will be some justice come out of this, that they will find out exactly who did it and why, and you'll get a semblance of justice. But know this, you probably will not get final justice in this life. And we will see Charlie Kirk once again before the judgment bar of God, and know that he was a good man. This is God and Country. Thank you for listening. Please support our channel. Please like it, subscribe to it, listen to it especially. Help us get past the YouTube suppression. And look for us on the next video.